Molo Sanbonani, hello, how's it? Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is the Thursday edition of Vuka Nazo, your morning news analysis show. My name is Usihle Ngobese, aka Big Daddy Liberty. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us here at the Big Daddy Liberty Show, find us on our website at bigdaddyliberty.com. There, of course, you can also pledge some financial support, please, towards the show. Join the growing number of subscribers, South Africans. We're putting aside 100 Rand a month towards the show. That money helps us hire the editors, the writers, as we expand our media offering. Exciting stuff coming in that regard. Hey, if you're watching this simulcast on YouTube or on Facebook, do me a favor, hit that like button as you're watching the show. It helps grow the audience. And hey, if you're on YouTube in particular, subscribe to the channel. Help me reach 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Now, if you enjoy us starting your news day, how about you head over to our friends at the Daily Friend, who from Mondays to Thursday come to you live at 1:30 p.m. and they help you round off your news day. That's dailyfriend.co.za. Now, enough with the jibber jabber. Let's get straight into the news. Oh yeah. Yeza-ke inkathazo. Here comes a problem. Here come a ding, as on say in Afrikaans, with Eskom basically saying, brace yourself, people, for the summer of darkness. That's right. Eskom basically saying expect stage 3 load shedding as a minimum heading into the summer, as they've run out of money effectively to keep the diesel turbines going. Remember, that's how they've been keeping the lights on, with this year already having seen a record number of days in darkness. That is load shedding days. I think 155 days plus is what we've experienced so far. That set to become worse. Eskom, in a briefing yesterday on its plans, how it's doing, etc., state of the grid, if you will, type briefing, basically painting a very grim picture, preparing South Africans for what will be a very tough time. Now, the diesel bill that Eskom has been using to pay for the diesel that it's burning simply is money that's run out. Remember, they burn this diesel at their open cycle gas turbines, I think is the expression they use, and they've racked up already 12 billion Rand in that regard, with the operations chief in that part of the world saying we simply don't have the money going forward. Therefore, load shedding will become a reality. Now, the picture is dire. I want to quickly read from this independent piece, which quotes exactly how much generation is being put out versus what is needed. Now, the utility is currently operating at 59% of energy availability factor. Now, that's an EAF factor, way down from the 75% anticipated by the new chairperson of Eskom, Mpho Makwana. Acting Generation CEO Thomas Conradi said it was hard going to achieve the at least 65% of this EAF, and anticipated reaching only 60% by the end of the current year. Now, this is again against that desired 75% EAF benchmark, as he puts it, a series of breakdowns at 6 major power stations take away more than 19,000 kilowatts, while the best 3 performers, Medupi, Matimba, and Letabo power stations, are humming well enough to keep the grid alive. End of quote. Now, I read this as a company which basically is saying, you know what, the very thing we're providing, the very thing we have an effective monopoly to provide, is the very thing we're unable to provide, namely electricity. And anybody here who's watching this and still believes that electricity should be the sole domain of either the state providing it, or worse yet, a state-owned business running as a monopoly, if you still believe that should be the status quo, then you are the fool.
But I pity the fool.
You are the idiot who deserves to sit in darkness. It is high time we privatize this, and I've said it once and I'll say it again. What needs to happen now is a complete breakup of Eskom into 2 or 3 divisions. The one is generation. Generation should be an open market in South Africa. In other words, anybody willing to generate electricity, you're welcome in South Africa. Bring your private investment to generate electricity and sell it to the grid. The grid could still be owned by a state-run Eskom or the state or whatever the case may be, to which then your customers can be also municipalities, businesses directly, or even residential areas directly. This is the market. If you opened up the market to electricity in this country, we would not be having these problems. All right, I take you now to Ekurhuleni. Yes, that's right, that metro, the topsy-turvy metro that is Ekurhuleni, where it's one mayor one week and another the next week. You remember, of course, the DA's Tanya Campbell is now back in the hot seat as mayor after the ANC and EFF, which had ousted her via a motion of no confidence, couldn't agree. That's those two parties, of course, couldn't agree as to who then takes over from Campbell, whether it's the EFF or the ANC. That breaking apart saw Tanya Campbell, the DA's mayoral candidate, effectively right back into the position, and it has been a hot seat so far, including, of course, her own coalition partners, ActionSA, dumping her and effectively saying they'll want no part of this new mayoral committee. It's party chairperson Michael Beaumont quoted in this News 24 piece as to why they pulled out of the coalition this time, as saying the following: ActionSA doesn't believe that it can form part of another unstable government in Ekurhuleni, which it says won't be able to fend off motions of no confidence from the ANC. Instead, the party will take an opposition role and ensure the DA coalition delivers services to residents. This, of course, is according to Michael Beaumont, the party's chairperson, who was speaking at a briefing on Monday, who went on to say that the party would continue voting with the DA to block the return of the ANC on council decisions, but negotiations would, quote, be treated on a case-by-case basis, end of quote. Now, it remains to be seen what this does to the overall opposition picture, the rapport, if you will, between opposition parties, because it's a pretty trashy move to leave your coalition partners at the 13th hour like this. And it begs to be seen how voters will interpret this. I think that's for the ActionSA to grapple with. But with that being said, as I said, it places a lot of pressure on Tanya Campbell, who, where ActionSA is right on this, is saying that the coalition is rather unstable. Where with this now including the departure of ActionSA, making it even more unstable. Now, I want to quickly read from a EWN piece as to what Tanya Campbell is now facing and how she's had to put more DA members into her MMC. She's quoted as saying she's confident in the capabilities of her new capability, quoted as saying, "I've announced my team of MMCs who will guide their respective departments in the direction that builds on the great work we have achieved thus far. These individuals have been appointed based on their skill sets," according to the DA's Tanya Campbell. Now, again, I'll end off here. A lot of pressure on Campbell as there are mounting issues in that part of the world. The trash situation, 2 weeks plus worth of trash that's been piling across the metro, is one such issue which she's acted on, seemingly having placed the head of the Ekurhuleni Waste Management on special leave, maybe even looking to eventually dismiss that individual because of the incompetence in that part of the duties of the municipality. But nonetheless, massive pressure on this woman, and for the rest of us, it remains to be seen as to whether she'll still be mayor anytime in the near future. Never be afraid to call out the hypocrisy of the media elites, the political elites in this country. Hypocrisy as exemplified by one AKA, famous rapper in South Africa, who took to social media to beg Elon Musk for him to come and solve our energy crisis in the country. Now, let me quickly read his tweet and I'll show you why it is laden with hypocrisy. AKA tweeted, "Dear at Elon Musk, can you please come fix the South African energy crisis? What will it take for you to come and flick a few switches and save us?" Praying hand emoji. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is the same AKA who not more than a couple of years ago was telling us that he is ANC through and through. He is voting ANC and imploring the rest of us to vote ANC. AKA, you are the problem. You are exactly why, and people who vote like you are exactly why we continue to have an energy crisis. The fact that you're unable to make that link and then boldly beg someone who's left this country to come save us, in other words, you and from your own bad decisions, it simply exemplifies the kind of political illiteracy we have in the country. Now, with that being said, I reminded AKA of this hypocrisy when I shared this tweet. Now, this is a screen grab of AKA's tweet a couple of years ago. He proudly declares, quote, "I am ANC through and through, but I need understanding and reassurance of what we stand for and where we're headed." And then he proceeds to put 3 heart emojis in the colors of the ANC. And then goes on to say, "Don't be afraid to speak out. The ANC belongs to us. This is our ANC." End of quote. Blech. Gross. You and people who vote like you, Keenan, are exactly where you belong, which is deserving this energy crisis. It's just a shame that the rest of us who don't vote ANC, who are smart enough to realize that the ANC is the genesis of our problems as South Africans, have to suffer along with you douchebags. Until you choose to abandon the party that literally has abandoned South Africans, then there is no use crying your crocodile tears to the likes of Elon Musk, people who themselves recognize that they're better off outside of this country than in this country. Until people like you stop voting for the ANC, then perhaps someone like Elon Musk can come into this country and offer his services, not as charity as you beg for it, but rather as a private sector player who can invest in our country's energy market and generation. That's what we need. Investment and indeed an open electricity market, something your crooked cadres in the ANC would never allow. All right, folks, that's it for this episode of Vuka Nazo. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, please, if you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook. I super appreciate it. I do go through a lot of your comments. If you're watching on YouTube, of course, do me a favor. Subscribe, please, to the channel. It will help me reach my 40,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I really will appreciate your push in that regard. And if you're watching on any other platform, hit that like button right now as you watch this show. Hey, tada! We also have a website. Find us at BigDaddyLiberty.com. There, of course, you can find all our latest stuff and soon, very soon, merch on the show. As you'll know, we come to you Monday to Fridays from 7 a.m. here at Vuka Nazo. And with that being said, have a great Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow.